First contact. Navy Lieutenant Alan Wright stared at the monitor in disbelief. For 3 years, he had been stationed at Europa listening post, scanning the void for anything unusual. Most days brought nothing but cosmic background noise. Today was different. "Sir, you need to see this," he called to his supervisor, Commander Grave Phillips. The signal pulsed with a regular pattern that couldn't be natural. It repeated every 12.7 seconds with perfect precision. Alan had isolated it from the background noise after noticing a faint anomaly during his routine scan. "How long has it been broadcasting?" Phillips asked, leaning over Alan's shoulder. "Unknown, sir. I first detected it about 3 hours ago, but it's so faint it could have been there longer." Phillips frowned. "Origin. Just beyond Jupiter's orbit. Whatever it is, it's not one of ours." Within an hour, the listening post was buzzing with activity. Scientists and military personnel crowded around screens, analyzing the signal. No one said the words alien contact, but everyone was thinking it. Admiral Karen Bailey's face appeared on the main screen. "Lieutenant Wright, since you discovered this signal, you'll join the investigation team. The U.S. Horizon will rendezvous with you in 6 hours." The Horizon was Earth's newest deep space vessel. Alan's heart raced at the thought of being aboard her for humanity's potential first contact. 20 hours later, the Horizon approached the source of the signal. Through the observation window, Alan saw a sleek vessel unlike anything humans had built. Its hull shimmered with an iridescent material that seemed to change color as they approached. "It appears damaged," Captain Laura Reeves noted. "Look at the starboard section." Indeed, part of the alien craft had been torn open, revealing complex machinery within. Scorch marks surrounded the damaged area. "Life signs?" Alan asked. "Sensors detect movement inside," replied Science Officer Ben Miller. "Environmental readings suggest the ship maintains internal atmosphere, but it's different from Earth normal. Higher oxygen, trace elements we can't identify." Captain Reeves made her decision. "Prepare a boarding party. Full environmental suits. Lieutenant Wright, you're with us." Alan's heart pounded as they entered the airlock. Years of training hadn't prepared him for this moment. The boarding party consisted of 6 people: Reeves, Alan, Miller, 2 security officers named Diane Jackson and Peter Martinez, and Dr. Olivia Chen, the ship's xenobiologist. The alien vessel's airlock accepted their docking procedure with surprising compatibility. Inside, soft blue lighting illuminated corridors that curved organically rather than meeting at right angles. "This design philosophy is fascinating," Dr. Chen whispered. "Nothing is linear." They followed the corridor until it opened into what appeared to be a control room. There they found the aliens. 3 humanoid figures stood waiting. They had slender builds, standing nearly 7 feet tall. Their skin was pale blue with faint patterns that resembled circuit boards. Large, almond-shaped eyes dominated their faces, watching the humans with evident intelligence. One of them stepped forward. "We welcome you, Earth people," it said in perfect English. "I am Zero of the Viridian Collective." The humans stood in shocked silence until Captain Reeves found her voice. "How do you know our language?" "We have monitored your transmissions for decades," Zero replied. "We needed to understand you before making contact." "Why now?" Alan asked. "Because time grows short," another Viridian said. "The Council has declared your quarantine permanent. We disagreed with this decision." "Quarantine? Council? What are you talking about?" Captain Reeves demanded. Zero's expression became solemn. "Your species has been isolated by decree of the Galactic Council. Earth has been judged too volatile for interstellar relations." "You've been watching us?" Alan asked, still processing the revelation. "Yes, and we are not alone in believing the Council is wrong about humanity. That is why we have come, despite great personal risk." Zero gestured to their damaged ship. "The Council's enforcers tried to stop us. We escaped, but not without cost." "What do you want from us?" Reeves asked cautiously. "Not from you, Captain," Zero responded. With you, we come offering alliance. The Council's decree. 3 days after the discovery of the Viridian ship, Alan Wright sat in a secure conference room deep beneath the United Nations building in New York. World leaders and military officials filled the room, all eyes focused on Zorro, who stood calmly at the center. The Galactic Council consists of 27 spacefaring civilizations, Zorro explained. For 10,000 years, they have governed interstellar relations and expansion. Holographic images appeared above the table, showing alien beings of various forms. Some resembled insects, others looked more like marine creatures, and a few had shapes humans couldn't easily categorize. 500 Earth years ago, a Council exploration vessel discovered your planet. They observed your civilization and reported back. The holograms shifted to show images of Earth's past, medieval wars, plague-ridden cities, religious persecution. The Council was concerned by human aggression, but decided to wait and observe. Every century, new reports were filed. More images appeared: colonial conquests, the world wars, nuclear tests, environmental damage. 50 years ago, the Council took a vote. Earth was declared a quarantined world. No contact permitted. No technology sharing allowed. Your solar system was sealed off. President Eleanor Wells leaned forward. You're saying we've been under alien observation for centuries, and they decided we weren't worthy of joining them. Not all agreed, Zero replied. The Viridians and 4 other species argued that humans showed great potential despite your flaws. We pointed to your art, your compassion, your resilience. General Frank Nelson, Joint Chiefs Chairman, frowned. How is this quarantine enforced? Automated beacons at the edges of your solar system alert the Council to any attempted crossing. Patrol ships regularly scan for signs of advanced technology development. So what changed? Alan asked. Why risk contacting us now? Zero's expression shifted to something Alan interpreted as concern. The balance of power in the Council has changed. The Draconians, who've always viewed young species as threats, now lead the dominant coalition. They've pushed for stricter isolation of Earth, citing your rapid technological advancement. Zorro activated another hologram showing Council chambers. Alien beings argued heatedly in a vast circular hall. This is footage from the Council meeting 3 cycles ago. The Draconian representative, Melok, presented this. The hologram showed military parades, nuclear submarines, fighter jets, and weapons tests. They edited your broadcast to show only your capacity for violence, Zorro said. When our delegation tried to present Earth's artistic and scientific achievements, we were outvoted. Secretary of Defense William Cooper shook his head. So we're considered too dangerous to join the galactic community. Worse, said Zorro. The Draconians fear you might eventually become strong enough to challenge them. The quarantine isn't just to protect other species from humans, it's to prevent humans from ever reaching their potential. A murmur rippled through the room. Our allies, and we believe this is wrong, Zero continued. We've been secretly monitoring Earth more closely, seeing what the Draconians refuse to acknowledge. Your capacity for growth and cooperation. And now you've broken their rules by contacting us directly, President Wells observed. Yes, by Council law, this action is forbidden. But several species have formed what you might call a resistance movement. We believe Earth deserves a chance. Alan noticed the alien's hands trembling slightly, a very human gesture of nervousness. How many allies do we have in this resistance? General Nelson asked. 5 species openly support Earth's integration, Zorro replied. Several others sympathize but fear Council reprisal. President Wells stood up. What happens when the Council discovers you've contacted us? They already suspect. Our ship was damaged fleeing a Council patrol. It is only a matter of time before they confirm their fears. Zorro looked around the room. The Council's greatest fear has come true. Humans have allies. Now we must decide together how to proceed before they respond. Covered alliance. 1 month after the Viridian revelation, a converted mining facility deep in the asteroid belt, became humanity's first interstellar embassy. Hidden from Earth telescopes and council patrols alike, the base, codenamed Handshake, housed representatives from Earth and their new alien allies. Representative Samantha Foster adjusted her breathing mask and watched as the latest shuttle docked. At 42, the former ambassador to the United Nations had never imagined her diplomatic career would lead her here, floating in microgravity beside beings from other stars. "The Arcturians have arrived," said Alan Wright, now her military liaison. "That makes all 5 allied species present for the first official summit." Samantha nodded. "I still can't believe this is happening." The airlock cycled open, revealing 3 Arcturians. They resembled tall, thin humans, but with 4 arms and skin that shimmered with golden patterns. Their eyes, entirely silver without pupils, somehow conveyed warmth as they bowed to the human delegation. "We bring greetings from Arcturus," said their leader, who had taken the Earth name River to simplify communications, "and gifts of knowledge." The meeting chamber had been designed to accommodate all 6 species. The Viridians sat with Zorro at their center. Beside them were the Lyrids, small beings with oversized heads who specialized in sciences beyond human understanding. The fearsome Krell, reptilian warriors nearly 8 feet tall, took up one entire side of the room. The newest arrivals, the Arcturians, settled beside the merchant species called the Nexus, whose transparent skin revealed colorful internal organs. "We begin this historic alliance in shadow," Zero opened, "but hope to one day stand together in the light of galactic recognition." Samantha stepped forward. "Earth thanks you for your courage. We understand the risks you've taken in reaching out to us." River of the Arcturians spoke next. "For centuries, my people have specialized in engineering. We offer designs for energy systems that will help Earth advance without alerting Council sensors." The Lyrids share medical knowledge, chirped their representative, Miri. "We believe human biology has extraordinary potential." The Krell representative, a scared veteran named Drac, rumbled. "We teach battle wisdom, council military tactics, defense strategies." The Nexus delegate, a fluid-voiced trader called Silk, added, "We establish secret trade routes. Earth arts, music, literature, highly valuable. In exchange, rare minerals, technology." Samantha felt overwhelmed by the possibilities. "These offerings are generous beyond words. What does Earth have that warrants such risk on your parts?" The aliens exchanged glances before Zero answered. "You possess something rare in the galaxy, adaptability. Most species evolve to fit specific conditions and struggle beyond them. Humans thrive anywhere. The Council fears this," Drac added. "We admire it." River continued. "You create art that moves emotions across species barriers. Even the Krell weep at your music." Drac growled but didn't deny it. "Most importantly," Miri said, "humans question everything. You never accept limitations. The Council wants predictable, controllable species. You are neither." Samantha nodded, understanding better now. "So this alliance benefits all of us. If we remain undiscovered," Zorro cautioned, "we must operate in complete secrecy." For the next 6 hours, they outlined plans. Earth would receive technological blueprints just advanced enough to accelerate progress without triggering Council alarms. The Allies would establish hidden outposts throughout the solar system, disguised as asteroids or debris. As the meeting concluded, Alan approached Samantha. "We need to prepare for the possibility of discovery. The Council won't be happy when they learn about this. How long do you think we have?" she asked. The Krell warrior Drac overheard and answered, "Council inspection fleets follow patterns. Next solar system sweep scheduled in approximately 6 Earth months." "Then we have work to do," Samantha said, looking around at humanity's first alien allies. "Let's make the most of this time." As they dispersed, Zero paused beside her. "The Council believes humans are dangerous gamblers. Perhaps they are right. But sometimes, Ambassador Foster, the greatest rewards come from the riskiest bets. Earth stands firm. President Eleanor Wells faced the assembled world leaders on the secure video conference. Representatives from every nation had gathered virtually to make the most important decision in human history. The Council's ultimatum is clear, she said, her voice steady despite the pressure. Either we surrender our alien allies for punishment under their laws, or they will enforce what they call containment protocols against Earth. The British Prime Minister spoke first. What exactly are these containment protocols? Samantha Foster, sitting beside the President, answered. According to our allies, it means a full military blockade of our solar system. They'll destroy any vessel attempting to leave Earth orbit and potentially target our more advanced facilities. Can we fight them? Asked the Russian president. General Nelson shook his head. Not directly. Even with the technology we've gained from our allies, we're centuries behind Council military capabilities. A tense silence filled the virtual room before the Chinese president spoke. What do our allies recommend? They're divided, Samantha replied. The Krell believe we should prepare for war. The Viridians and others suggest diplomatic solutions might still be possible. And if we surrender them? Asked the Indian Prime Minister. The punishment for breaking quarantine is severe, Samantha said quietly. Our friends would face imprisonment or worse, and Earth would remain isolated, perhaps with even stricter controls. President Wells stood up. Before we vote, I want each of you to consider what's at stake. For the first time, humanity has friends among the stars. They risked everything to reach out to us. Will we abandon them at the first sign of trouble? A series of thoughtful nods rippled through the screens. We will now vote on our response to the Council ultimatum. One by one, the world leaders cast their votes. When it was done, the result was clear. Earth would stand with its allies. President Wells nodded solemnly. Samantha, please prepare our formal response to the Council. 2 days later, Samantha Foster stood before a communication array that would broadcast her message to the Council fleet, now gathering at the edge of the solar system. My name is Samantha Foster, representing the United Nations of Earth. We have received your ultimatum and reject it completely. The beings you seek came to us in peace and friendship. They will remain under our protection. She paused, then continued with strength in her voice. Humanity has only recently learned of our place in the galaxy. We desired peaceful contact and exchange of knowledge. Instead, we discovered we had been judged, quarantined, and abandoned without ever having a chance to speak in our own defense. If you choose to attack us for the crime of making friends, you will only prove that your council rules through fear, not justice. We remain open to peaceful dialogue, but we will not surrender those who showed us kindness. As the message transmitted, military bases around Earth sprang into action. The technology shared by their allies was rapidly integrated into Earth's defense systems. Arcturian shield generators were installed on key satellites. Krell tactical systems upgraded military command centers. Layered sensor enhancements gave Earth eyes it never had before. Commander John Hayes, now recovered from his diversion mission, supervised the deployment of Earth's first hybrid warships, vessels combining human construction with alien technology. How long until the Council responds? He asked Alan Wright, who had been monitoring communications. Their fleet is still gathering. Best guess is 3 days before they make a move. John nodded grimly. Then we have 3 days to prepare for the fight of our lives. In hidden bases throughout the solar system, humans worked alongside their alien allies. The Krell taught combat tactics against Council ships. The Viridians shared intelligence on Council commanders. The Arcturians worked to improve Earth's defenses. As the deadline approached, Samantha Foster looked out at the night sky from her office window. Soon those peaceful stars would be the backdrop for humanity's first interstellar conflict. But despite the fear, she felt something else. Pride. Humanity had been offered a choice between easy safety and difficult friendship, and had chosen the harder, better path. The Council attacks. The first shots of the war came without warning. A Council strike force bypassed the outer system defenses and appeared near Mars' orbit, their ships shimmering into existence as advanced cloaking fields dropped. "Multiple contacts," shouted the sensor officer on Earth's Defense Command. 17 Council vessels approaching Mars. Configuration matches draconian assault carriers. General Nelson turned to the assembled military leaders. "This isn't the main fleet. This is a quick strike force meant to capture or eliminate our alien allies before the full invasion." In orbit around Mars, Alan Wright sat in the captain's chair of the EDS Defiant, Earth's first hybrid warship. What had once been a conventional space cruiser now incorporated Arcturian shield technology and Krell weapon systems. "Battle stations," Alan ordered as alerts flashed across his console. "All hands prepare for engagement." The Defiant was not alone. 4 other converted Earth vessels formed a defensive line around the Mars research base, where Viridian and Lyrid scientists worked on crucial defense projects. "Enemy formation approaching," reported Lieutenant Maria Davis from Tactical. "They're launching fighter craft." Alan studied the tactical display. The Council ships were spreading out to surround them, clearly confident in their superior technology and numbers. "Open a channel to all Earth ships," Alan said. "Remember your training. Use the asteroid field to break their formations. Don't engage them in open space where they can outmaneuver us." The Council commander's voice suddenly came through on an open channel. "Attention human vessels. You are in violation of Galactic Council decree. Surrender the Forbidden Alliance species and stand down." Alan exchanged glances with his executive officer, Jack Reed. "No response," he ordered. "Execute defensive pattern Krell 7. The Earth ships scattered, diving toward the Martian moon Phobos and using its mass for cover. Council fighters streaked after them, energy weapons flashing. The Defiant rocked as enemy fire impacted its shields. "Shields at 80%, reported the engineering officer. "Arcturian reinforcement holding. Target lead carrier and fire Krell torpedoes," Alan commanded. From the Defiant's modified launch tubes, 6 glowing projectiles streaked toward the largest Council vessel. The alien ship tried to evade, but the torpedoes, designed by the Krell specifically to counter Council defenses, adjusted their course. 5 torpedoes struck home. Energy cascaded across the Council ship's hull as its shields failed. "Direct hit," shouted Lieutenant Davis. "Enemy vessel is venting atmosphere." Around them, the battle intensified. 2 Earth ships took heavy damage, but remained operational thanks to their upgraded systems. Council fighters swarmed like angry insects, but their weapons proved less effective than they had expected against the hybrid defenses. On Earth, Samantha Foster watched the battle unfold via real-time tactical displays. Beside her, Zorro and Drac provided running commentary. "They underestimated your adaptations," Drac rumbled approvingly. "The Council believes technological superiority guarantees victory." "They've never faced humans before," Samantha replied. The battle raged for nearly 3 hours. Alan's ship sustained heavy damage, but delivered crucial blows to the Council fleet. When the Council commander realized they couldn't achieve a quick victory, they made a decision that shocked even their own allies. "All Council vessels, this is command. Prepare planetary strike weapons. If we cannot extract the forbidden allies, we will eliminate the research base entirely." Alan's blood ran cold at the intercepted transmission. "They're going to bombard the Mars base. There are 3,000 people down there, both human and alien." He made a split-second decision. "All Earth vessels, form up on the Defiant. We're going to hit their command ship directly." What followed would later be called the Mars Gambit. The 5 damaged Earth vessels charged directly at the Council command ship, absorbing punishing fire. 2 Earth ships were destroyed, but the remaining 3, led by the Defiant, crashed through the enemy formation. The Defiant's weapons found their mark. The Council command ship erupted in a series of explosions that rippled along its hull. Without central coordination, the remaining Council vessels fell into disarray. "They're retreating," Lieutenant Davis reported with disbelief in her voice. The Council fleet is withdrawing. As the alien ships disappeared back into hyperspace, cheers erupted throughout the Earth Defense Network. Against all odds, humanity had won its first interstellar battle. On the Council homeworld, the news of the defeat sent shockwaves through the government. For the first time in thousands of years, a quarantine species had not only resisted but repelled a Council enforcement action. The Council's greatest fear had indeed come true. Humans not only had allies, they knew how to fight alongside them. The truth revealed. In the aftermath of the Mars battle, Earth prepared for the Council's full invasion. But 2 weeks passed with no sign of the main fleet. The reprieve gave humanity precious time to strengthen defenses and study the captured Council technology from the damaged ships left behind. Alan Wright walked through the secure lab beneath Geneva, where scientists examined a partially intact Council computer core. The battle had left him with a jagged scar across his left cheek and nightmares that woke him each night. But they had won, at least the first round. Captain Wright called Dr. Helen Porter, the lead researcher. "We've broken through the final encryption layer. You need to see this." Alan joined her at the main display terminal, where streams of alien text scrolled by, automatically translated by Viridian software. "What am I looking at?" he asked. "Council historical records, specifically records about Earth." Helen pointed to a section of text. According to this, the Council has visited Earth before, long before their official discovery 500 years ago. Alan leaned closer. "How long before?" "Approximately 12,000 years ago, and again 8,000 years ago, and again 5,000 years ago." Helen's voice trembled with excitement. "This changes everything we thought we knew." Within hours, Samantha Foster arrived with representatives from each allied species. The Viridian Zero examined the data with growing concern. "I had suspicions, but no proof until now," Zero said. "The Council has been manipulating developing species for millennia." The Lyrid scientist, Miri, chirped nervously. "This explains inconsistencies in Council historical archives. Records altered, truth hidden." Alan looked between them. "What truth?" Drac, the Krell warrior, stepped forward. "Human adaptability. Not just physical. Mental. Genetic. You evolve faster than any known species." Samantha's brow furrowed. "Is that why they quarantined us?" "Because we evolve quickly." "Partly," Zero replied. "But there's more. According to these records, humans possess something the Council calls the potential." Helen pulled up another file. This describes genetic tests conducted during previous Earth visits. The Council discovered that human DNA has unusual properties. It can incorporate beneficial traits from other species through a process they don't fully understand. In simplest terms, Mary explained, humans can potentially evolve to incorporate advantageous traits from any species you encounter, given enough time and exposure. The implications stunned the room into silence. The dominant Council species, especially the Draconians, fear this above all else. Zero continued. A species that could potentially combine the best traits of all galactic races would eventually surpass them. Ellen processed this revelation. "So they've been isolating us not because we're too violent, but because they're afraid of what we might become." "Precisely," said Zorro. Samantha paced the room. "These records also mention previous contacts with humans thousands of years ago. What happened during those encounters?" Helen highlighted another section of text. "According to this, the Council established outposts on Earth multiple times. They studied humans, sometimes interacted with them. Ancient human mythologies about gods or advanced beings might actually reference these visitors. Then each time they left." Ellen noted. "Why?" Drac growled. "Because humans learned too quickly, adapted too well, began replicating visitor technology. The quarantine was their solution," Zoro said. "Keep humans isolated, prevent contact with advanced species, slow your development. When you still progressed too rapidly on your own, They considered more drastic measures. Samantha stopped pacing. What measures? The Draconian faction has twice proposed complete sterilization of Earth, Zoro said quietly. They were outvoted, but support for their position has grown as human technology advances. The room fell silent as the humans absorbed this existential threat. Finally, Alan spoke. This information changes our strategy. The Council isn't just enforcing rules. They're protecting their dominance. We need to address this directly. Samantha nodded slowly, an idea forming. We need to speak to the Council face to face. Not as supplicants begging for acceptance, but as equals demanding recognition. Nothing is impossible, Samantha replied with determination, especially for a species with the potential. What we need is a plan bold enough to make them listen. As the group began to discuss options, Alan studied the ancient records again. Humanity had never been alone in the universe. The truth had been hidden not because humans were unworthy of contact, but because they were too worthy, too full of possibility. That knowledge changed everything. A new galactic order. The Grand Council chamber stretched before them, its vast dome sparkling with representations of 1,000 stars. Samantha Foster took a deep breath as she led the unprecedented joint delegation, 6 humans and representatives from each allied species, down the central aisle toward the Council platform. 2 months of desperate planning had led to this moment. Using a diplomatic vessel provided by the Viridians and passage codes obtained through Nexus traders, they had bypassed the blockade around Earth's solar system. The journey to the Council homeworld had been fraught with danger, but the element of surprise worked in their favor. Unauthorized beings in the chamber, announced an alarmed Council security officer. Containment protocols activated. Before security forces could respond, Zero stepped forward. I invoke the right of petition under Ancient Statute 7 Alpha. All species have the right to address grievances before full council. The chamber erupted in chaos. Many council members had never seen a human before, and now 6 stood before them. The head counselor, a draconian named Supreme Adjudicator Malak, rose from his elevated seat. This petition is denied. Humans are a quarantine species. Their presence here violates our most sacred laws. Alan Wright, standing beside Samantha, activated a small device. Suddenly, the chamber's main display screen came to life, showing the Council's own secret records about Earth, the same files they had discovered after the Battle of Mars. We come not as violators, but as accusers, Samantha declared, her voice carrying throughout the chamber. For thousands of years, your council has hidden the truth about humanity. Today that ends. The images on the screen changed to show ancient council visits to Earth, genetic studies of humans, and finally, the draconian proposals for Earth's sterilization. You did not quarantine us to protect the galaxy from humanity, Samantha continued. You did it to protect your power from the challenge we represent. Murmurs spread through the chamber as many council members saw these classified records for the first time. Malak hissed in fury. This is Viridian treachery. These humans have been corrupted by outlier influence. Drac, the Krell warrior, stepped forward. Humans proved worth in battle. Defeated your ships at Mars. Shows strength, courage. The Arcturian representative added, they mastered our technology in months, not centuries. Their capacity for learning defies all predictions. Several neutral council species began to whisper among themselves. The evidence was compelling, and the presence of 5 respected species standing with humans could not be ignored. Samantha raised her hand, quieting the chamber. We do not come seeking war. We come seeking recognition, not as inferiors to be quarantined, but as equals with our own place among the stars. She gestured to her companions. Look around you. In just 6 months, humans have formed meaningful alliances with 5 different species. We've learned your languages, adapted your technologies, and embraced your cultures. Yet we remain distinctly human. Alan stepped forward. The ability to adapt and grow through connection isn't a threat. It's the foundation of true civilization. Isolation breeds fear and misunderstanding. Contact breeds innovation and friendship. A council member from a previously neutral species stood. I have monitored the Earth situation closely. Despite provocation, humans showed restraint in the Mars conflict. They disabled our ships but saved council crews where possible. These are not the actions of a dangerous species. More council members began to voice support. The tide was turning. Supreme Adjudicator Melek made a final attempt to regain control. The quarantine stands. Security, remove these trespassers. But no one moved. The council chamber had fallen silent, waiting. An elderly council member from one of the founding species slowly rose. I propose a vote, not on maintaining quarantine, but on its immediate dissolution. Let Earth join the galactic community not as a subject world, but as a full member with its allies. The vote was not unanimous, but the majority prevailed. After 12,000 years of hidden contact and 500 years of isolation, Earth was officially recognized by the Galactic Council.